I want is money, power.
Once upon a time I had not lives. Whatever I wanted, that was my life.
Hello, gorgeous people. This is day 2 of the Mirror Masterclass. And we have a very big, very important, very extraordinary topic on our hands today because we are merging the topics of influence and the topic of power together. So yesterday, one of the biggest points that I really drove home with you is that you have influence. Like what you decide to do has influence. What you decide to not do has influence. When you show up in a room, you influence the room. But when you don't show up in the room, the lack of you influences the room. And if I were to put my finger on one thing I've really seen in the comment section that seems to have really hit home with people, that's the thing. That's what's really hitting home, is this feeling of, even when I don't show up in the room, that influences the room. Like, how many rooms have I just not touched? How many rooms were influenced by the lack of me? I even saw the most amazing posts in the group, like the lack of me, the absence of me, what this could have caused, or how I imagine, what I see where I didn't show up. This huge contemplations. And this is really important because in the big scheme of things, there's a reason we're here on this planet. There's a reason that we were put here. I'm here for a reason, you're here for a reason. And it's certainly not for us to have never made an imprint. It's certainly not for us to just avoid the rooms and our influence only be the places we weren't in. That can't be it. So how do we find inside of us the power to consistently tap into how important our influence is? This is how it comes together. You've got to tap into the power to constantly be connected to how important your influence is, your presence and your lack of presence. And it takes energy to have that kind of power. It's easier to unplug from our power, to distract ourselves from it, to numb it, to just watch time pass by, like minutes and hours just fly by, another day has passed, another month, another season, another year, where you didn't necessarily influence in a way that you chose. You just kind of waited to see what would happen, or waited to see if you'd be invited, or waited to see if it looked like you were making a difference. Instead of knowing inevitably, it is not possible for me to not affect this room. My presence affects it, my lack of presence affects it. I affect the rooms that I'm in no matter what. And I affect the rooms I'm not in because my presence creates a lack. If I had been there, it would have been a different outcome. That means my lack of presence has an impact. If me having been in the room would have been different than me not being there, then me not being there caused a difference. There was a difference. As we start to really understand that, it's like we're reclaiming how much we matter. But from a bigger perspective, not I matter like me, I want to feel like I matter, more like whether I feel it or not, I do. And such an important piece of this is so much conflict occurs in the world because people don't think they matter. People think they can just say things with a tone and the tone won't matter. Like, I didn't mean it like that. It's like, yeah, but it's how you said it. Okay, I'm tired. I've had a big week. I'm sorry. Like, it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. It matters. Oh, sorry, I wasn't able to make it for your birthday. You think your presence doesn't matter. Your absence means something. So when we start to claim our influence, there's another piece of the puzzle that becomes really important, which is the power to hold the intention of our influence. And this is not easy. So this is where, for example, you want something, you desire something, and just in being the kind of person who desires what you desire, that creates influence on the planet. Like in wanting to create Alpha Femme, I influenced the world. In wanting to create 1 million millionaires, I influenced the world. In wanting to build a luxury brand, I influenced the world. In wanting to run a business in feminine energetics, I influenced the world. All of my desires influenced the industry, my network, my peers, my family, my friends, my employees, my clients. Everything I've wanted, everything I've believed in has influenced people. The first time we hit $1 million, it influenced people. Hitting $1 million again, it influenced people. Constantly staying on track with my goals, having $1 million month, that influenced people. Having a $2 million month, that influenced people. Having a $4 million month, that influenced people. It was like, it wasn't just about, I want this. Everything I want influences people. So then it was about, while I build all this success and wealth, having a relationship that works, that influenced people. Making time for my family and having a family first business with Kevin, that influenced people. Having an incredible team that's just world class and shows up for people, and our customer service being through the roof. And no matter what the amount of money is, it's the people that influenced people. The fact that I still had a quality of life and I traveled and I saw the world and I was grateful for the things that I had, that influenced people. So it's not just what I did, it's what I continued to desire and how I continued to treat the things I'd already received and how I see the world. But that becomes, over time, a task. I didn't realize at first when I wanted my dreams to come true, it felt like a target that I could just hit. Like I had a dream, I wanted the dream to come true, boop, that's it. But the thing is, once you've achieved the dream, you have another one. And it's usually going to take about the same or more than what it took for you to do the last thing. So you've got to go back in the game again. You got to feel again. You got to move again. You got to be again. This isn't the kind of thing where you work really hard for a target, then you hit it, and then you relax and drink pina coladas on the beach. Although you definitely can take time to do that. But it's like you build something and then you celebrate it, and then it's like, okay, what's the next thing? There's a constant advancement. I think this is something we don't often think about when we're building success or when we're building a long-term relationship. We want to fall in love, but we don't think about what it takes to maintain love forever. You might have a health goal, but you don't think about what it's going to take to maintain that goal once you hit it. You want to be seen, but you don't think about what you're going to have to do after you've been seen. And so what it takes to really manifest and create, both in the tangibles and in the energetics, what it really takes is power. Power to be able to handle the ebbs and flows of success and failure all throughout your life. Because it's the same for everybody. It doesn't matter how big you play or how small you play, there will always be a fluctuation. It will never just be a straight line. Whether you play so safe or whether you are crazy bold, there will always be a divine fluctuation in what you're doing. It's going to be up and down on the way up, or up and down on the way down, depending on your momentum streak. So influence and power go really hand in hand, because if you don't have the power to continuously choose your journey, if you don't have the power to continuously move forward with yourself and with your goals and with your desires, if you don't have the power to do that, the influence starts to dwindle. So you'll notice people be very influential for seasons of their lives and then kind of disappear. And we've seen this with artists, we've seen this with entrepreneurs, we've seen this with, politicians, we've seen this with all kinds of different people who are in the spotlight for a moment. It feels like that's all the world talks about, and all of a sudden, boop, the influence goes. And there's two parts of that. The first one is if it's a difficult reason that they're in the public eye, they have to have the power to not run away and quit. And if it's a positive reason they're in the public eye, they have to have the power to not then imagine their career is over whenever there's a low. And that's not as easy as you would think. The feeling of being top of the charts, that's the kind of high that most people will never understand in their lifetime. But falling off the chart, that week where you go from number 1 to number 7, or number 1 to number 2, and the next week from 2 to 4, and the next week from 4 to 7, the next week off the charts, that down feeling, whoo-wee, that requires power. So we want to combine these two things together because this is what it takes. The influential part, it's incredible. Influence is the most extraordinary thing. When I look at my inbox and I see the messages and like, this is changing my world and it's already changing my perspective and I had the biggest breakthrough and I manifested this and I've got to tell you this and oh my God, like that is all such an incredible feeling to receive. But the power that it takes when the business fluctuates over time, over years, if there's something to face in my personal life, if there's something to face in the world and my power is wobbly, I might fear that my influence will drop. So I need to work on my inner power as a insurance policy on my influence. It's kind of how I see it. You work on your inner power as an insurance policy on your influence. Because if your influence is only connected to circumstantial power, as soon as the circumstances change, your influence drops. And then it feels like you're on a roller coaster. And this is where a lot of people go into burnout and overdrive because they try to force instead of tap into power, and they're trying to force their influence. How do I get more people to watch? How do I get more people to buy? How do I get more people? Instead of tapping back into their power, their trust, their faith, and actually creating from a much more aligned place. So in feminine energetics, when we're looking at mirror, mirror, the masculine energetics is looking into the mirror and trying to change the reflection somehow, pushing it, changing. The feminine energetics are more of a trust and a surrender and watching how your life molds and transforms in front of your very eyes when you do the tough things. So I'm going to give you some examples because people have a hard time understanding and grasping this. Like, well, what do I do? What do I do? And it's like, even that question is in the masculine. So in masculine, feminine energetics, if you could imagine, they're both very important. The masculine is the thing that you do. You say you're going to do it, you do it. Your word is law. You say you're going to do something, you do it. You go for it. You don't give up. Masculine energetics. But the feminine is how you feel about what you're doing. It's the trust. It's the faith. It's the enjoyment. It's the pleasure. It's the magnetism. It's the actual experience of your life. So masculine energy is what you're doing. Feminine energy, how it feels when you're doing it. This is why a lot of women burn out in masculine energy, because they're like, I was just doing the things. I was doing and I was succeeding. But I was not fulfilled. I was exhausted. And I wasn't having fun. And I heard too many women tell me this in my life. Too many. I want to succeed again. I know I can, but I've usually done it in masculine energy and then I burn out and I hate it and I want to know how to do it in feminine energy. But how do you do it? And what's difficult is that the only way to do it is to do it. So if you can imagine you have a child, a teenager, a young child who's heartbroken because their friend found another friend at school and they're not best friends anymore. And they say, how do I stop feeling so sad? It's like, sure, you can give them some different thoughts, but ultimately the fact is they've got to keep living their best life. They've got to know how great they are. They've got to believe a new friend is coming. And they've got to just enjoy their youth and trust there's another new, way better best friend coming. And if that best friend was supposed to be the best friend, maybe they'll circle back when they've gone through their phase. But it's an inner game. And there's no way that best friend is going to come back by fighting, pushing, coaxing, forcing. It's not going to happen. They don't need a strategy to get the friend back. When you think about a teenager who's just brokenhearted because their boyfriend or partner just broke up with them and they're just so miserable and so sad, and it's like, what do I do? And it's like, you are going to realize that you're magic on legs, that these are your best years, and you are going to focus on your studies. You're going to focus on your passions, on your friends. You're going to take care of you. No. I mean, what do I do to get the person back? No, I'm not going to do that. But then how am I supposed to get the person back? The only chance there is of getting the person back, if they're the right person, because we don't even want them back if they're not the right person. But between you and I, the best way to get the person back is to stop trying to get the person back. Is to start living your best freaking life, be magic on legs, become so magnetic they can't get enough, and be like, where were you? This is not the person I broke up with. Why are you all sparkly now? Why are you all lovely now? Where was this version of you when I broke up with the other version of you? I want this version of you. That's the only way. How do you explain that? But what do I say? What do I do? Should I text? Should I say? No. But there has to be something I can do. No. In the feminine, we attract. In the feminine, there's a magnetism, there's an energy, there's a connection that you're drawn to. And it's the same in business, in romance, in friendships. There's not one thing that this does not apply to. But the power becomes difficult to plug into because of what we talked about yesterday, which is the feminine energy and the fear or the pain of disappointment. So we're going to dive into this for a second. So if I want to hold power, I want to be powerful, I want to hold power, then I am going to have a very powerful stance in my life. There's going to be things that I want. There's going to be things that I claim. There's going to be things that I want to feel or experience or have. I'm going to say things like, I want to help 1 million millionaires in my lifetime. I'm going to say things like, I want to be the example, or I want to do this. Like, when I became the first person that I knew to make 6 figures in a year, I felt so powerful. And I was like, I wonder how far, can I continue this? Can I maintain this? The first time I made $1 million in a year. Oh my gosh. Just to give you perspective, I made my first $1 million in 2018. It came in 14 minutes before midnight. So for all of 14 minutes, I could celebrate $1 million a year. Then it was the 1st of January. And so for those of you who track on PayPal or Stripe or whatever, at the beginning of a new month, it's like month to date, 0. Well, now it's like year to date, 0. And the first thought that crossed my mind is like, what if I don't do this again? What if it was a fluke? Now, why would I say that to myself? If my desire is that this is not a fluke, my desire is that this is just the beginning. My desire is that this is a fraction of what I end up doing in my life. My desire is that this is the first year, the first shot, the first time. So why the freaking heck would I be saying things like, what if it's the last time? What if it was a fluke? What if I never do it again? Why would I do that? The only reason I would do that is to avoid feeling disappointment if I don't do it again. This is the only reason that I would do that. Because or else there's absolutely no reason to do that. The only reason is if I say, what if I never do it again? It's so that if I don't do it again, I can say, I knew it. At the beginning of this year, I had a feeling, I just kind of knew. You know how you know these things? You know how you just know? I just kind of knew. I said to myself, Melanie, because that's my name. I said to myself, Melanie, probably not going to do that this year. Let's just be honest. Let's not set ourselves up for disappointment. This is a big feat that you accomplished. And you're probably not going to do it again. Let's be honest. And I was right. I didn't do it. It's the only payoff. But if we're really honest, the real honest truth is it doesn't even work. You can be negative. You can say negative things. You can plan for negativity. You can say all the things that avoid disappointment, all you want. But at the end, if it doesn't work, you still feel disappointed. Even if you get to tell people, even if you can make it look like, I knew it. Even though you can make it look like that, you can make it sound like that, it doesn't actually change how it feels. You're still disappointed. You can say, I just have a feeling my partner's going to cheat. I have a feeling my partner's going to cheat. I have a feeling my partner's going to cheat. And then they cheat. And then you say, I knew it. But it doesn't make it hurt any less. So what does power look like? Power looks like I say, I am so happy for this $1 million year, and that was just the beginning. I feel it. But then it's immediately followed by, but what if you're wrong? And then if you're wrong, then you will be disappointed. And if you are disappointed, then you will be sad. And if you are sad, then we will never recover. So let's not say that. Let's not just get too excited. I could also fail dramatically this year, and that would also be fine. I wouldn't mind. It would be okay if I failed. Not so bad. It's okay. I could fail. I'm good with that. I'm grateful. I say that to limit the potential disappointment, but that doesn't work because I'm going to be disappointed anyway. So what does it actually do? What it does is it just kills your power. Because who you are when you say, I am working on building this. I am totally going for the gold. I am playing to win. When you speak like that, when you put all your energy like that, there's an energy about you. There's a feeling about you that is indescribable. And it's so magnetic, and it increases your influence. And you are capable of believing it. It's just that you also fear that it could not work, and then you're claiming big things and it wouldn't work. And the idea is not to make huge promises and not deliver. You're not gonna be like, for sure this year, I'm skyrocketing everything. I'm going 10x in my business for sure, guaranteed. You're not saying that, but you're saying, I am working on 10xing my business this year. Instead of, last year was a really big year, so we'll see. Obviously, you never know. Trying to avoid disappointment. It's normal. People do this. But to have power means that you're willing to hold the thought, the feeling, the vibration, the energy, the work, the words, the actions. You're going to do everything in alignment with, this was just a beginning. This was just the beginning. I'm going to have an even better year this year than it was last year. You're going to start moving in that direction with conviction. And you're not going to say, but what if I fall? Because what's the point? You're going to stay in your power. Now, this is really important because energetically, and because in my world, energetics are the leading thing. No matter what we're doing, it's like, are the energetics clean? I don't care what you're doing. We need to figure out if the energetics are clean. Doesn't matter how hard you work. If the energetics weren't there, energetics weren't there. It's like when you ask your partner, do you love me? And your partner says, yeah. And you're like, you don't love me? I'm like, what do you mean? I just said yes. Yes. But the way you said it, that was not love. It's how you say it. It's your energy. It's your all-inness. It's your truth. It's your power. It's your conviction. That's what draws the magic in. So you've got to have that kind of power in your life, in your relationship, in your business, with your money, with your power, with your influence, all of it. It's so much easier to play below the energetic line. To just do it, but do it scared. Do it, but do it to avoid disappointment. Do it, but do it safe. Do it, but do it out of fear of failure. That's such a different doing than the doing in the name of beauty and power and celebration and solid belief in yourself and pride, and it means something to the world, and it's such a different energy. So this is one of my favorite analogies. When you're playing to win, there is a frequency. There's an energy. Playing to win requires power. To be an athlete that competes in the Olympics requires a lot of power, because you are going to try to play a game the whole world is watching, and there is a big chance you're going to fail, and you have to manage your mind, your spirit, your body, your soul. You have to manage everything to not think about what if I fail. You've got to believe you can win all the way through the finish line. You cannot wobble in your belief that you could win. It's the only way you can win. You know how much power that takes? To believe you can win. How many athletes, like the most incredible games you've watched that have been the greatest games you've watched, where it's like the team's down 0-4. It looks like all is lost. It's first period, let's say it's hockey. First period is 0-4. Everything's terrible. Second period, 0-7. The other team's crushing. It's a nightmare. And then something happens in the third period. They get a second win. And all of a sudden, they end the game 9-7. what happened? They played to win. Now, the team that plays to win has a lot of power. But how did the other team lose? I'll tell you. That team stops playing to win. As soon as they see they've got a big enough advantage, they start playing not to lose. And that is a very different game. When we're at a rock bottom in our life, when we've gone through something tough, when we're at the end of the rope and everything sucks, we play to win because there's nothing to lose. So we play to win. So there are so many stories of people who hit rock bottom and then all of a sudden became fantastic, because the thing is, you can only play to win when you have nothing to lose. As soon as you get comfortable, you start to play not to lose. These are two entirely different frequencies. So if you can imagine, this is the frequency of winning. This is, I'm born to win. This is, I visualize it, I see it, I feel it, I want it, I touch it. My whole life is excited and this is the pleasure of my life and I love this and I'm constantly in the vibe with this and it's amazing and da-da-da-da. This is winning. This is losing. Winning, losing. Winning, losing. Winning, losing. The frequency of not winning. Where would you say the frequency of not winning is? Frequency of not winning is somewhere on the outside of this. So there's winning, and there's not winning all around it. So if you can imagine like throwing a dart at a dartboard. So this is the bullseye, winning. All around it, not winning. This is losing. Everything around losing on the dartboard is called the zone of not losing. So I want you to imagine when you get all in your head about not failing, about not going into debt, into not making the wrong decision, where are you aiming? Are you aiming here? Or are you accidentally aiming here? Now, you cannot aim in this direction and end up hitting this unless you're terrible at aiming. But the problem is you're not terrible at aiming. You're a freaking genius. You're a master manifester and you manifest exactly what you want. You create exactly what you want. You have the power to create exactly what you focus on. And you have been focusing on not losing. Not losing your relationship, not losing the amount of followers, not losing the amount of likes, not losing the amount of money, not losing your thing, not making less, not going into debt, not making a wrong mistake, not doing, not feeling, not failing. And you can aim. So you're a genius. So you are aiming for all around a failure. What are the odds? You're a millimeter off failure. Of course, there's a chance you might hit failure once in a while. Not failing does not feel like winning. Not failing is so far from not winning. It's literally two different dartboards. So power is the willingness to play to win and potentially fail. Fear of failure is playing, hoping you won't hit the bullseye and sometimes hitting it by accident. And then you fail by accident. You're just trying to not fail, but you missed it by a millimeter and failed instead. If you aim to win, and if you miss it by a millimeter and you don't win. That happens. But it's so different not winning than failing. I've done a lot of not winning in my life. And I've done a lot of failing in my life. And I can tell you, they do not feel the same. Failing feels like giving up, feels like I'm done, feels like I'm out. Not winning feels like disappointment, sadness, shame, And sometimes we feel more comfortable fighting and just giving up than we do just handling a little bit of disappointment. And this is the whole world of feminine energetics. This is hard on all genders. Doesn't matter what gender you are. This is hard for all genders because all genders have feminine and masculine energetics. That fear of failure, you can succeed at failing. You just hit the bullseye on failure and you failed. You pull the plug, you win. You want to fail? You pull the plug, you won at failing. It's perfect. You sabotage, you win at failing. Perfect. But power is saying, I want to win and I will never aim for anything other than winning. And if I'm a millimeter off and I don't win, I will deal with the non-winning this time. And I will throw another dart and another dart and another dart because I was born to win and I will not stop playing. So when I look at in the world, what's the difference between people who are playing this big game, people who are influential, versus people who want to be playing a big game and want to be influential? Is it depends where they're throwing their darts. You're either throwing your darts at winning and you're managing your feelings around not winning, or you're throwing your darts at not losing and you're accidentally hitting losing by accident. All the power and all the influence is required on this dartboard. This is the one that needs you to manage your mind. This is the one that needs you to manage your heart, your breathing, your nervous system, your spirit, your imagination. This is where it requires actual power. Because or else you just quit. And I have seen grown people quit. I have seen grown people who swear that they want to win. I see them swear they want to win, aim not to fail, accidentally hit failure, and sabotage everything. And they don't see what it looks like from the inside. They're too preoccupied by what it looks on the outside. The inner energetics matter so much more than what it looks like. It's not about what it looks like, it's about what it is. If it looks like failure, but it was actually not winning, you're okay. You aimed to win and you didn't win, you're good energetically. You wanted to win, you aimed not to fail, you hit failure, energetically you're on the wrong dartboard. If you can contemplate this during this masterclass, I think you're going to have an extraordinary epiphany that you think you want to win, but you play not to lose most of the time. You're just throwing at the wrong dartboard and you've got mad aiming skills. This is your only issue. So how do we start aiming at the right dartboard is we actually have to take on the mission of becoming powerful people. So there's things that I did in my career that if I had just given up or seen the not winning as a failure, there's no way I could be here. And it starts as easy as I opened a free Facebook group in 2017. I opened my Alpha Femme brand, and in the summer of 2017, I opened a Facebook group. And I was doing live streams on my personal page to prep for the launch of this free group. And I had this vision that there would be 100 people in the launch. So for me, success looked like there's going to be 100 people in that group. So people weren't joining as fast as I thought they would. And instead of having 100, after procrastinating the opening of the group for weeks, there were 70 people pending in the group. And I had the thoughts, if I can't even get 70 people in a free group, who the heck am I? Like, what am I even doing at this point? Like, what's the point? I should cancel the group. I had that thought. Now, from an outside perspective, I think you can very easily find which dartboard would I have been aiming at if I would have done that. If I would have closed the Facebook group, I would have closed the Facebook group aiming not to look like I failed. So I would have been aiming here. Never mind, I thought about it. I realized not in alignment. Never mind. Not failing. But instead, I opened the Facebook group with 70 people. And I really took a moment to think about those 70 people and who they were. Some of them had been messaging me, when's the group opening? And I was like, when a bunch more people manifest, I don't know what to tell you. I would open it tomorrow. It's not my fault. It's opening soon. These people are excited and I'm not opening it because there's this arbitrary number of 100 people I said needed to be in there aren't there. What if I just open the group? So I got dressed up in my prettiest white dress and I popped champagne and I got myself in the mindset of a winner. This group will matter. This opening call matters. There will be a day in my life where I help 1 million people become millionaires. And it starts tonight and it'll be a great story. And who am I going to help if I can't lead this like a leader? And I'm going to be proud and I'm going to be happy and I'm going to celebrate the 70 people. And I did a group opening in that group as if I was accepting an award for something. I let myself get excited. I didn't have 100 people. I didn't hit my goal. I didn't exactly win. But what dartboard was I playing on? I was on the Born to Win dartboard. So I launched a program called Impact Academy, and I filled 33 spots. It was supposed to be a year-long program. I let people do payment plans, and I really believed in people like, your word is law. You say you're going to do something, you do it. Well, a third of the way through the program, people were like, yeah, I can't finish my payments. Yeah, I quit. Yeah, you know what it's like. I had no contracts. I had nothing permanent in my business. I just thought people would honor their word. Nope. By the time we were halfway through the program, I think I had like a third of the people left in the program. And I thought about shutting the program down. I failed. I really thought of shutting the program down. And not only did I think of shutting the program down, I thought of leaving the coaching industry entirely because some of the people who left made it, you know, like when someone wants to break their word and the easiest way for them to do it is to make you wrong for why they want to leave. Like I was receiving a lot of like, you are this. And I was like, well, I'm trying my best to be the greatest and I'm doing this. Like there must be something wrong with me. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I'm not good enough. So I thought of shutting it down. Which dartboard would that have been on? I didn't fail this program because my mind was telling me they're all going to end up quitting. They're all going to end up leaving. They're all going to end up dissatisfied. They're all going to end up blah, 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 blah. So I wanted to close it so I didn't have to feel the feeling of all of them leaving. This is what my brain was telling me was going to happen. What dartboard would that have been playing on? So instead, I went through the finish line with that program, and a lot of the women who completed that program are still in Alpha Femme today. They're still clients of my brand today. Women who've done extraordinary things were in that first round. People who I'm still close to, who give me life updates still now. So I didn't finish my year with 33 people that went through the finish line, but I finished my year with like 10 or I think 13 people we finished with, and the people who stayed are still connected to me today. And Impact Academy is still a program I sell today. It's one of my highest grossing programs of all times, but I rejudged it and made it on a shorter time frame and more impactful in a shorter time frame. Did I win? No, I didn't win. But what dartboard was I playing on? So I started with a program called the Alpha Femme Experience in 2019. It was a client of mine's idea. She said, why don't you make a bundle with all of your programs and then we can just buy everything, because I want to buy everything you sell. I would just want to learn everything from you. I want to learn relationships. I want to learn money. I want to learn leadership. I want to learn like everything you talk about and the way that you talk about it. I want to learn it from you. So can you just make a bundle? And I said, okay. So I made that bundle, and the first time I sold it, almost everyone that was in my program bought it. It was incredible. But they were part of the creation of it. They were in the vibe with me. They were in the zone with me. So the next time I did a program and I went to sell the Alpha Femme Experience, they were not all in the zone of having created it. Now I had to tell the story about how last time I ran a program, a client gave me that idea. I pitched the Alpha Femme Experience and nobody bought it. And I was like, uh-oh. Okay, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Maybe it was only good for the group that went through it the first time. So maybe I never talk about the Alpha Femme experience again. I'll make it really cozy. I'll make it something that only the people that were there on that first round in January, only they get it. Was I playing to win? Or not to lose? If I did that, I would have been playing on this dartboard. So what did I do? I sat with myself and I asked myself what was different about this sales pitch than the last sales pitch. What's important? What did I not talk about? I reworked it and I sold it again the next time. And I think 6 people bought it on the next program. Still not 13. But now I had 19 people in the Alpha Femme experience. We finished that year with 100 people in the Alpha Femme experience. And since 2019, we've had almost 2,000 people go through the Alpha Femme experience. I eventually won. The Alpha Femme experience is an extraordinary offer. People jump into it every week. What if I would have just closed it the second time I tried to launch it, just so it didn't look like I failed? Then, I had a mastermind. Great idea for a mastermind. I'm in Europe with my sister. We're in Monaco. I'm in the vibes. I create a mastermind. I'm like, it's going to be called Calibrate. It's going to be for 5 women. It's going to be 5,555. I'm giving no information. It's one of those things where if you know, you know. 1, 2, 3, go, launch it. Nobody asks me about it. Nobody. And so I start to think, should I cancel it? Should I just not talk about it ever again? No one will know. How will they know? Just stop talking about it. Poof, never happened. And I'm like, but that would be playing to lose, not to lose. While I'm on the fence about this one night, boop, 1 payment comes in. 1 person buys it. Well, now I've got to do it. For those of you who are in the coaching world, you know the only thing worse than selling nothing is selling 1. Because then you're like, oh no, what do we do with you? So I'd sell it. Well, in that mastermind, Amy Elizabeth, which is like one of my most extraordinary clients, met me in that mastermind. I would have canceled the mastermind that Amy was in. Like one of the most important people in my career was in that mastermind. Did I get the winning feeling I thought I was going to get? No, I had to adapt the launch time. I said to the girl who bought it, I'm just going to start it 2 weeks later. She was like, no problem. And then I sold it until I filled it. But we did it. I had to keep selling. It was very clear I hadn't sold it out, but I played to win. And I won very big. Because later on, it was Amy that introduced Jack. Can you imagine? Had I not done that mastermind? So now let's bring influence back into this conversation. We're so afraid that people are going to think less of us, that we play not to lose. But people thinking something of you isn't influence. What people think of you has nothing to do with your influence. It's what they feel from you that's influence. Do they feel like you go and you play to win? Do they feel like you have power and courage and confidence? Do they feel like with you, the sky isn't even the limit? You will not be limited by your fear. You will get up one more time. Do they feel that from you? Or do they think you're succeeding at everything and they think it's easy for you and they think everything you do turns to gold and they think that's not influence, that's inspiration. That's when they say, oh my gosh, you're so inspiring. Hopefully one day I'll be as good as you and I'll make no mistakes. And on that day I'll hire you and then it'll be great. Because how can they work with you when you're perfect and they're not? They have to get perfect before they can work with you, but they're so inspired to be perfect and they'll put that on their vision board. The reason people chose me is because I fell on my face and I thrived. I fell on my face, I got back up one more time and I did the moonwalk. I fell on my face and then I won and then I threw a party. I fell on my face and then I learned and then I taught what I learned and then the people I taught succeeded and then we all had a party. I didn't care what people thought of me. I cared what I thought of me. I care what I knew of me. And what I knew of me is I was all in. And what I knew of me is that if people knew what it took for me to be all in, they'd respect me even more. A lot of times people think if people knew, they'd respect me less. I felt if they knew, they'd respect me more. There'll be no way I can even ever explain to people. I'll never be able to show people how much I care, what this looks like behind the scenes. If they knew, they'd choose me more. That's influence. Then you know. Not like behind the scenes, it's one thing. In front of the scenes, you're trying to make them see something. Your life is about being it. And you know that there's an energetic match to that in this universe. And then your quality of life goes up. And then your relationships go up. And your enjoyment goes up. And your magnetism and your power and your... Now you're in the freaking zone. That's what we want. And the more influence you have, and the more power you have, money's coming. Money can, it's like a little signal. There's power and influence over there. Come on, bring friends. The money just comes, it's drawn. Because where there's power and there's influence, money can grow. And I know for a fact, like most people think, so many people think like, why, I don't understand why the money's not coming. I need it. I need it so much. If it could just come because I need it. And it's like, if money went where it was needed, there would be no poverty. It doesn't go where it's needed. It goes where there's power and influence. And this is why I want to normalize big money in the hands of women. Because if money can go where there is influence and power in feminine energetics, there will be a world. Oh my gosh. Like just the thought of that makes me want to grab us all and just walk towards glory. Like I just want to move with you when I think of that. But we've got to understand our influence. I could have said, out of fear that people see that the first time I sold AFE, 13 people bought it, and the second time no one did, and the third time no one did. Out of fear of people seeing that, I'm going to stop selling it. Instead of saying, I believe in this. It's going to work eventually. I know this is good. And then being influential because I'm the one who didn't give up. I'm the one who showed resiliency. Then my clients got results. Because it didn't look like I had just nailed it on the first time and then called it a day. They watched me win, they watched me fall, and they watched me win again. That creates influence. So the power is in the ability to feel the feelings that go with not winning. Because not winning is not the same as trying not to lose. I gave an example to one of my clients about this morning. You imagine a small child that wants something and they can't have it. If they want, you're going shopping with your child and they see a red truck and they want this red truck while you're shopping. And you say no. And they say with their big eyes and their cute little voice, Mom, I really want it. It will change my life to have this truck. Imagine how cool I will be at the kindergarten. When I have my red truck, I will feel so happy. It will be the best day of my life. Please. Please. You know, red truck, red truck, red truck. They are playing to win. If you say no, the game changes. They don't know how to sit with not winning. Not winning looks like disappointment. Okay, Mom. sadness. I really wanted that red truck, but guess it was not in the cards for me. They don't really do that. I mean, some of your children might. Round of applause. Very emotionally intelligent. But usually, the dartboard swings in the whole other direction and it goes to failure. And then they try not to lose. Please! You don't understand. I'll never be happy again. I hate all my other toys. This is the worst day of my life. You're the worst mom. I'm going to scream, screaming the place down, tantrum in the middle of the store. This is the attempt not to lose. Now, this is usually where your patience goes down the drain, your anger rises, your like of your child goes wobbly. There are times where you will give in and you will give them what they wanted, but that still won't be a winning. That will still be a failing. Because when you have a tantrum and then get what you want, and you imagine in life you have to get a tantrum to get what you want. And this is a really incredible story I'm going to tell you right now. My grandma, on my mom's side, lived with her aunt. She grew up living with her aunt. Her mom died when she was very young, and her dad left, and she was brought up by her aunt and uncle. And they didn't have a lot of money, and my grandmother had a thing for sweets. And so every time they'd go out, my grandmother would ask my aunt, and little kid, can I have some sweeties? And then her aunt would say, no, Joan, you can't have sweeties because we can't afford the sweeties, so you can't have them. And then my grandmother would throw a fit. A huge fit. And then eventually, her aunt would give in and buy her the sweeties. One time, after a huge fit while she's still sobbing, chewing her candy, she asked her aunt, why do you always make me cry before you give me the sweets? Do you think that's a win? Even though she may have felt like she received the candy and that was a win, do you think what the human being received was a win? My aunt makes me cry, but eventually she gives me the sweets. Imagine that thought pattern in a relationship. Imagine that thought pattern with money. Why do you always have to make me cry before you give in? Is that a win? No. So even with your kid, you will play not to lose. You will give them what they want, but they still don't win. The only way to win is to play to win and to learn how to handle not winning and to completely eradicate this dartboard. And this is the realm of feminine energetics. This is the realm of personal power. This is the realm of resilience, the ability to breathe through pain and disappointment and guilt and shame. This is nervous system regulation. This is about breathing through your feelings and gaining power. And continuing to thrive because you get to play again. And there's a win around the corner if you don't give up. And there is nothing on this planet that's more powerful than a person that can handle their feelings and continues to lead. And this is what I learned in my own life to do. Because I would give up on anything that didn't work. I would throw it in the garbage. I would give up. And I would blame someone else for it. Just so I didn't have to look like I failed. When I took on responsibility for my life and I said, there will only ever be, I win or I learn not to win with class. I win or I learn not to win with grace. I win or I learn not to win with faith. I win or I learn not to win with power. I win or I learn not to win with responsibility. I win or I learn not to win and still hold my mission. I win and I learn not to win with focus and determination. I win, but I learn how to not feel like it's impossible to never win again. I stay on the board game where the bullseye is the win every time and I keep throwing the darts. I built the programs. I launched the masterminds. I continued to sell from an aligned place, never going into overdrive, pushing, coaxing, prodding, trying to do something so that people buy, to close them, to get them. I didn't do that. If I am an energetic match for this win, I will win. So why don't I focus more on what my power is? Why don't I focus more on what I'm capable of? And if I focus on what I'm capable and what I love and my personal power, and I play to win and I don't win, then I'll learn. I had a big vision in mind. And I ended up creating more than my vision even could stretch. Because what I've really come to find is, if you're willing to find out what you're made of, you're gonna be mind blown. You play to win, and you learn how to just not win and get back in the game, what you will end up creating in your lifetime will be beyond what you ever thought possible. And this happens all the time in my life. I share this with my clients so often. I've told people this in advance. I've told people this. I've said to them, I've shared with them, I said, if you can just not give up, if you can just not try not to fail, if you can just eradicate trying not to lose, if you can stop doing this and you just focus on this, it will work. There will be a moment you're in my inbox and you are telling me, Melanie, it worked. I have it. I'm making 10K months, 20K months, 30K months, 40, 50, 60, 70K months, 100K months, 300K months, 500K months, $1 million month. I did it. I launched the book. I wrote the book. I filled the stadium. I did it. It worked. We got the deal. We signed the deal. We got the property. They signed the business deal. We sold the property. We did the thing. It happened. Oh my God, it's blowing up. People are popping like popcorn. I sold out my event. I nailed it on the stage. My book's gone viral. I'm a New York Times best-selling author. Melanie, you were right. I met the guy. It happened. I'm freaking out. Melanie, you said it and it happened. I thought about you on my wedding day. It's too much of it has happened for me to ever fear for you. I'm excited for those of you who can hear me. I really am. Because it means you're just ready. So many of you will take this training and it'll go over your head. It's going to happen. You're going to listen to me and you'll be like, blah, blah, blah. But the ones who feel it when I'm talking, you're in the zone with me, I am so excited for you, because the thing is, if you can feel it, you can do it. That's influence. If you can feel it, you can do it. If you can feel it, you can be it. If you can feel it, then it's already on the way. But we let go of our power. We want something, but we constantly interact with what it would feel like not to have it, just in case, to get prepared somehow. It's pointless, because it feels like crap anyway if you don't get it. So you might as well live your life dreaming. You might as well live your life in the zone. You might as well live your life saying yes. You might as well live your life going for it and healing and getting better and course correcting and getting back up one more time. You might as well live your life doing that and eventually win. And then if you don't win, you deal with the disappointment, you deal with the stuff, you get stronger, and you throw the dart one more time. Then to play and not to lose, play on the wrong dartboard the whole time. There is no chance of winning unless you're terrible at aiming, and it just turns out you're epic at aiming. So you're probably gonna not lose. And if you're a little off, a little millimeter off, oops, you get a loss. What's the point? What's the point? Let's play to win. We were born to win. Let's learn how to win, and let's handle not winning, but let's not even invent this game. We don't need this board. The failing and the not failing board, it's a crappy board. It's the booby prize. Let go of that board. Stop living your life not to lose. Eradicate that choice. I'm either going to win or I'm not going to win. And when I don't win, I regulate my feelings, I get stronger, and then I throw the dart again until I win. There's only one dartboard. And the bullseye is winning, and everything around it is just not winning. And you can handle that, and you can handle yourself. And if you have a hard time with that, I have the solution. You study your own emotions, not from a place of what's wrong with me and how do I stop failing. From a place of, I'm playing to win, so I want to be amazing whenever it happens that I don't win. While I'm learning, while I'm recalibrating, while I'm finding my footing, while I'm figuring it out, I want to be at the peak of my game. I want to have the strongest mind, the strongest heart, the strongest spirit. I want to feel capable of getting back up, and I want my influence to be present always. I don't want to take myself out of the game because I can't hold my power. I want to be in the room. I want to build my story consciously every step of the way. I don't want to numb or disconnect or play small. I want to play to win, and I want to handle what it feels like not to win, and to just get to be stronger and stronger and then play again. That's what we're doing. And so people often ask me, clients, when they go through master classes with me, they're like, okay, if I could just do one program, if there was one program I could do, which one would you do? Which one should I do? And my answer to that question is Femme Fatale. Femme Fatale. That is the program. Femme Fatale is what made me Melanie Ann Layer. Like, I created a body of work to guide my clients to becoming the strongest versions of themselves that they could, so that they can continue playing to win. Because if you just keep playing to win forever, you will win more times than you could ever possibly imagine. And every time you don't win, you'll learn. You'll sharpen your edge. You'll get some sort of perspective on something. You'll learn a lesson. You'll become better, stronger, wiser. If you can just stay powerful enough to just play on the dartboard that has winning on it. And Femme Fatale does that. And it's studying this work. Not just taking it like there's a checklist and all of a sudden you're going to just succeed. Taking it like it's a rite of passage, like it's a voyage into your innermost power. And the 2025 round is going to be insane. The things I'm bringing forward for us in this next round have never been put in a Femme Fatale program before. I want you to experience the kind of power you have maybe never let yourself experience. I want to skyrocket your courage and your strength like you have never experienced it before. We are going to go on a journey together. This program is so extraordinary. It has to do with your thoughts. It has to do with your feelings. It has to do with energetics, how to handle disappointment and pain, how to handle in your nervous system, stress, nervous energy, that feeling where you just want to switch dartboards and go to this dartboard. Like, it really helps you get into your energy, get into your body, get into yourself, and the kind of influence that becomes available is out of this world. Now, this is a program for women only. Kevin has a program called The Word of Men. So my fiance, Kevin, works with men. He only has private coaching or this one program called The Word of Men. And so if you want to reach out to him, find out about that, if you want to find out what the details are of this, very similar, but for a man's journey. But for women, it's Femme Fatale. And it's on early bird pricing until 10 p.m. tonight. So right now it's $2,222. A bunch of people jumped in after yesterday's email, which is awesome. And it's going to expire in price tonight at 10 p.m. Now, I want you to know, and I've already had people ask me, what if there's other things? You said you were going to talk about other programs. What if I end up wanting to do another program? What if I want something else? If you think you might want this one, I would go for it, because worst thing, you can just upgrade or exchange. I don't have a problem with that. So if you want to upgrade into something else, or you want to do a bundle, or you want to do something like a AFE, when I start talking about that, you can upgrade. But if in the end that's the one you end up wanting to do, at least you've locked in that price of $2,222. So I highly recommend that. This is the real work. And why I love Mirror Mirror as a concept is the only way you're going to change what you see is to change what is. You can't just change the reflection. And social media warps that for us a little bit, just add a little filter here and add a little this here. But like in real life, when you look in the mirror, the power behind your eyes, the strength you feel from your presence. You can't change that in any other way than from the inside out. This is an inside journey. It's an inside job. And this program is a freaking masterpiece. So if you want to get in the vibes of going into a journey with me that is so much deeper than anything superficial that you might need to do, this is the thing. And so Femme Fatale is included in the Alpha Femme experience, and I'm going to talk about the Alpha Femme experience throughout this masterclass. So if you're already knowing, oh no, I'm doing the Alpha Femme experience, then you can absolutely wait. But if you're like, well, I don't know if I would do the Alpha Femme experience, then you can lock in Femme Fatale now. And if for any reason you want to upgrade later and you feel ready, then you can. And so this is a February program. You can also put it on a payment plan if it helps you to do monthly installments. You can do monthly installments until February. And we have a couple of bonus material for you to bite into as soon as you join. So you're not just gonna have to wait till February with nothing on your plate. I have some bonus stuff I'm gonna give to you to get started with the coursework right away. But it is a world-class program. If you have any questions about it, you can ask the Alpha Femme team, but I really think for this particular type of program, because it's an energetics program, just notice what your questions are for. It's more like, do I want this transformation? Do I want this journey? The details don't really matter. It's more about the work. You know, this, and I had people ask questions for Mirror Mirror as well. People asked, oh my gosh, Christina Knapp just bought it. Christina Knapp, I think I pronounced the second K as well. This happens sometimes in the way that we're, you know, making a decision or something. We get into the little details. The $44 offer of Mirror Mirror, people were asking like the specifics, the details. I'm like, get your butt in there. Don't worry. How long is each call? Well, I said an hour. We went 2 hours yesterday, an hour 20 today. Like, how long are the calls? What's exactly gonna be? Do you feel it? And are you just trying not to lose? If you want it, then that's it. But all the little details, yeah, but what about, yeah, what about, yeah, what about? Just notice, are they real questions? If they are, the Alpha Femme team's got your back. I have the most dedicated team. They will answer whatever you need. But just notice where the frequency of your questions come from. Is this you making sure you don't mess up? Is this you making sure you don't buy the wrong things? Is this you making sure? Or is this you desiring it and just getting clarification? Notice even in your energy. So tomorrow, we're going to be bridging how power and money come together. And that is another epic conversation. So yesterday we had influence. Today, influence and power. Tomorrow, power and money. And then we're going to have a Q&A. And then we're going to have a grand finale module. So don't forget, if you share this live stream, make sure you tag, or not this live stream, but this program, make sure that you tag me. Make sure that you tag me on Instagram, Alpha Femme, Melanie and Layer, to get yourself in the draw. Another champagne bucket of the universe. Someone will draw that. We'll draw that. Someone will win tomorrow as well. And what else do I want to tell you? Oh yeah, the affiliates. People can still join this program all through the finish line. So if you're talking about it, just make sure you have an affiliate link, because if people that you know end up coming here and they buy something, I would love for you to be able to receive something for that. So make sure if you do share, you share with an affiliate link, because all they need to do is just buy Mirror Mirror through your affiliate link. It's not a huge deal on the front end. It's like $4. But if they buy after that, it's 10% for the lifetime of the client. So it is worth it. And I know a lot of you are generous with your shares. I just want to make sure you get compensated for your support, because I really appreciate it when you're sharing. I've appreciated the testimonials so much. I appreciate it so much. And I always want it to be for me, for you, for us. And I think this affiliate program is like the best for that. So if you do share, make sure you add your affiliate link. Okay, so on this note, this is what I want you to focus on this evening. This is your work. For this evening, I want you to focus on what it feels like to decide you want something. And anytime there's a thought like, what if I can't have it? you see a second like dartboard appear. So if we could imagine there's this beautiful golden dartboard, all like your favorite color. It's your favorite color. It's got the most beautiful trimmings on it. It looks like something out of a museum. And the bullseye is really big in the middle, and it's the winning bullseye, and everything about it, everything around it is not winning, and you learn to play that game like a freaking pro. And the other dartboard stinks a bit. When you bring it out from the attic, it's got a mothball smell and something else that's not good. Whatever it is that you don't like, stinky something. And it don't look so good either. It's not your favorite color. It's the kind of color that you're like, meh. Like, I don't know, something like puce. Sounds gross. Don't even know what color puce is, but it's puce colored. And the trimmings are not good. The vibe's not good. It's got this huge failure in the middle, and everything around it is not failing. Notice how often you bring the stinky dartboard out. You are having a conversation about, what if I become this incredible spokesperson? What if I become the top of the line in my real estate company? Oh my gosh, I'm seeing payments come in. This is actually very exciting. What if I become the top person in my real estate company? What if I become the best? What if I do yeah, but then what if you don't? Stinky dartboard. Why are we bringing the stinky dartboard? You know what? This weekend, I'm going all out. What if I meet the person of my dreams this weekend? I'm single and I'm ready to find my person. What if this weekend I meet my person? I'm going all out. Well, how embarrassing if I get all dolled up hoping I'm going to meet my person, and in the end there's no one even interesting there. No, I'm not going to do that. Stinky dartboard. Why did I bring out the stinky dartboard? Okay, I have this new product I'm launching on the internet. Oh, but what if nobody buys it? Stinky dartboard. M.A. Teasdale. I'm so happy you're doing Femme Fatale. You know, I want to buy this house, and I'm going to put an offer in it, but, you know, my offer isn't way above their asking price. The market's a buyer's market or a seller's market. It's not going to work. They're not going to take my offer. Stinky dartboard. Well, yeah, I have a visit tomorrow, but I don't know. I just get a feeling about these people. They're probably not going to buy the house. Stinky dartboard. I've been feeling great, going to the doctors. I've Googled my symptoms. Stinky dartboard. Like, how often you bring that thing out, it's mind-boggling. So I really want you to think about your big desires today. Your desires in love, in health, in wealth, in business, in influence. I want you to think about who you really want to be. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I want you to think about who you really want to be. I want you to think about what's possible for you. And I want you to notice how often the little stinky dartboard feels like it's making its way into your thoughts. And share with us in the group. If you can already tell, I already know exactly. It's in my dating life every time. It's in my health goals all the time. It's in my business goals all the time. And can you actually see how the thing that would change it is power? The power to hold on to the vision of what you want and only interact with the possible success through the finish line. The only thing that could happen is just that you don't succeed. That's it. And then we'd play again. How would that change your life? Contemplate that. Be with that. Don't know why the comments never came on today, but I felt like I could be really focused. Hopefully you got everything you needed or everything you came for today. Tomorrow's going to be huge. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. As soon as the replay's up, we'll send it out to your emails. We'll post it to the group. We'll get some quotes out for today's module as soon as possible. Just go into the inner work. If you only listen to what I'm saying right now and you don't do the inner work, it's going to do a fraction of what it can do for your life. I don't want to inspire you. I want to influence change. I want you to start permanently playing on a different dartboard for the rest of your life. I want you to put the stinky dartboard away and not take it out again, and notice when you do and say, no, I want to influence the way you think and feel about yourself and your life and what's possible for you. You either win or you don't win, and you can handle that. There is no losing. That only happens when you quit, and that's sabotage, and we're not doing that. You're dedicated to your life. You want to win from the inside out. You want everything you're doing to work, and you want it to feel the way you want it to feel. I want that for you. This is how we get there. enjoy, have fun dreaming. Don't let the stinky dartboard come out. And I will see you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye.
All I want is money, power.
Once upon a time I had nine lives. Whatever I wanted, that was my life.